Greetings and welcome. With the holidays upon us, I know that I can get caught up in the hustle and the bustle of rushing here and there, and then totally forgetting to actually experience this time of season. Over the years, I have learned a few tips to make sure that when January comes along, I'm not saying to myself, wow, that was a whirlwind. Here are 5 tips I have learned to navigate through the hustle and bustle. Number 1, keep a master schedule with everyone's activities on one calendar or schedule in a central location. For my house, we actually have a calendar whiteboard and everybody is color coded. My oldest daughter's in blue. My youngest daughter is in purple. I am in green, and my husband is in brown. All the family stuff that we do together, that is in black. And so we are able to go to that calendar. I can see when my husband is working late, when he has clients. I put my client schedule. Obviously, we don't put names on there, but we just put, 5:30 patient, 6:30 patient. And it just lets us know, okay, if I've got a 5:30 patient, I am not the one picking up my kids from school. My husband knows to do that. If there's a concert, if there's a theater practice, if there's a sports practice, everything goes on this calendar. We don't just do this at this time of season, we do it all year long. So everybody's used to it. But around this time of season, there's a lot more activities. There's school parties, there's Christmas concerts, there's church activities, there's parties that we might be invited to, there's play dates, there's just holiday festivities that are unique. And we just put that all on the schedule. The other thing that we do is every Sunday, this is tip number 2, every Sunday, we look ahead for the week so we can see what is coming before it smacks us in the face. I mean, how many times have you had a concert come up and you completely have forgot about it? Well, that hasn't happened to me yet, but it has happened where, like the day before, I suddenly realized that my kids don't have like dress shoes for the concert tomorrow. And then I have to rush around and rearrange my schedule to go and take them to get new shoes. And that's a challenge because, you end up paying more because you didn't buy them when they were on sale. You have to have them. So you have to, kind of get what you get. And that's no fun. It's stressful. And I really try hard not to do that to myself or to my family. So look ahead every Sunday and see what is coming up. And then along with that, if somebody in the family says, oh, so invited me to that party, we can look in advance and see, oh, you know what? Logistically, we just can't do that. If you have to be somewhere at noon and the party starts at 11:30, that probably isn't going to work because logistically, if the other kid has something, we just can't make it happen. So sometimes we have to say no. And when we look at that schedule every Sunday, we have a chance to talk together and say no to some things and say yes to others. I always like to use the phrase, and I heard it from someone else, so I wasn't creative to think about this on my own, but one of the things that I learned is if you say yes to something, then you are saying no to something else. Keep that in mind. If you say yes to something, you are saying no to something else because you cannot be in 2 places at the same time. Step number 3 is prepare in advance. What I mean by this is obviously we're looking at the schedule, we're communicating with everyone. And when we prepare in advance, it doesn't just mean looking at the schedule and being aware of what's coming up. It also means what can we actually prepare in advance? If we have a holiday party at the school and we're supposed to bring cookies, then can we bake those cookies in advance when it's more convenient in our schedule instead of the night before and freeze them? Or can we make banana bread or zucchini bread or pumpkin bread? Can we make 2 loaves of that at the same time and freeze them? And then when we're ready for the event, they're already available. They're already done. If it's store-bought, then you need to figure out when you're going to put that in your schedule to go to the store and actually purchase the store-bought item that you intend to bring. Now, if you are going to a potluck, is there something that you can sign up for that is easy, like cups, forks, knives, spoons, napkins, something like that, if you already have a crazy week happening? Don't commit yourself to bringing this extravagant dish when you really don't have time to do it. Choose something easier. Or is it something that can be made in advance the night before and you have time in your schedule to do it? Or is it something that requires just picking up a fruit salad or picking up a veggie tray or making your own veggie tray and chopping everything yourself because that's cheaper? Whatever it may be, what items can you prepare in advance? One of the things that we do around this time is we celebrate some of the Christian holidays. So my kids have made Advent chains that have like scripture verses and stuff. Well, one year I actually put those phrases on the computer so that all I have to do every year is actually print out these strips of paper, and then my kids just have to cut them. So instead of having to rewrite every single scripture verse for the Advent chain, we don't do that anymore. We can print out the verses on the computer on colored paper like red or green, and then they can cut them themselves and create the chains themselves. Are there decorations like that that you can prepare in advance? Anything you can do in advance when it's more convenient in your schedule is a huge win in my book. Number 4 is designate a time to slow down for family time. For us, this looks like mealtime. That way, we know at least once a day, we are all sitting down together. Now, sometimes all sitting down together is a parent and 2 children because of the way our work schedules are. And whatever that might look like for your family. Or it might not be dinner, it might be breakfast where all members of the family can be present. But try and have a slow down time where it's just not rushed and you can talk freely, you can learn about each other's day, you can ask questions, and nobody's rushing from here to there. That's frankly, that's important all year long. If you can have a family time, specifically a meal time where everybody sits together, there are a lot of research statistics out there that families who have mealtime together have a lot less incidence of drugs, of kids hanging out with kids that aren't as good of an influence as you as a parent might want. They tend to have better grades, more self-esteem. There's just a lot of research out there. If parents and their kids are able to have family meals together several times per week. And again, in our family, that might be, and that might look like one parent with both children for us, because we have 2 kids, but it might be one parent with both kids, but our girls know that family time is at home And mealtime is at home, and they have a parent who's going to listen to them. So designate a time to slow down for family time. Number 5, the 5th tip is focus on being present instead of trying to be perfect. Perfection is an unachievable goal despite our best efforts. We are not perfect. We are going to fail at times. Sometimes it's colossal, sometimes it's the minutia, but we aren't perfect. So don't focus on having the perfect meal with the napkins creased perfectly in diagonals, or creating caricatures with the napkins and the way you fold them, or having all the silverware line up perfectly and having all the glasses face a certain way. Nobody's really going to remember that. Getting caught up in these perfect details, we miss out. We have kind of a joke in our family. Again, we're a Christian family. Whatever your faith might be, that is up to you. But we talk about who's being Mary and who's being Martha. And the story is that Mary sat at the feet of Jesus, and Martha was getting upset because she's trying to do all these tasks and prepare all this stuff, and Mary wasn't helping. But the story is that Mary chose to be with Jesus and spend that time with him because he was the guest in the house. And I liken that to this time of season, because so many times we're so busy and we've invited people to our home to be our guests, and then we never talk to them because we're so focused on making sure the napkins are lined up, making sure everybody has the exact amount of juice or milk or water in their glass and that it's all lined up perfectly. Everybody has the same amount. Or we're focused on making sure the towels in the bathroom are straightened perfectly. And it's just this inundated quest for perfection that just can't be achieved. And in the process, we miss out on being present and having conversations with our guests. And they came because they wanted to talk with us. Why else would they accept an invitation? Other than maybe a meal. But they're bringing something too, typically. So they're contributing to the meal. They're coming because they want to share time with the host and the hostess and the other people there. So I encourage you to focus on being present. Be a little more like Mary and a little less like Martha. There are times to help and do all the tasks. There are times to stop, relax, and chat with the people who came to see us. So there you have it, 5 tips that have helped me navigate through the hustle and bustle, and that I hope helps you too. Just to recap, number 1 was to keep a master schedule with everyone's activities on it so everyone can see it clearly and communicate about those activities. Number 2, every Sunday, or choose your own day. I just choose Sunday because it's beginning of the week. Look ahead for the week so you know what's coming. Number 3, prepare in advance. What things can you prepare in advance, whether it's food, whether it's arts and crafts, whether it's making sure carpools are lined up, whatever it might be, prepare in advance. Number 4, designate a time to slow down with your family and just have some quiet downtime where you can touch base with each other, chat a little bit. Preferably this happens every day. Preferably it's a mealtime, and just engage with one another. Number 5, focus on being present instead of trying to be perfect. Those are those 5 tips that I have learned to help navigate through this time of season, as well as throughout the year. I encourage you to try some of these tips. Until next time, be bold, be beautiful, be you.